This is your magistrate or probable cause hearing. It's my opportunity to determine whether or not there's probable cause to hold you. If in fact there's probable cause to hold you, I'm going to tell you what the bond is. You might qualify for pretrial. If you do, I will let you know. If you're in on a misdemeanor other than a DUI, maybe we'll be able to resolve it and get you out of jail today. Just know that if you plead to a suspended driver's license case and you have 2 others of those or 1 in a DUI, you're going to lose your license for 5 years, and I will let you know that. So hopefully we can help you today, or at least inform you as to what you have been charged with. Amanda Harrig.
Advised she's been released, Your Honor.
Okay. Lakita Long.
North Broward.
Ms. Long, good morning.
Hello?
Ma'am, you've been charged with possession of heroin, possession of cocaine, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I find there's probable cause. Pretrial?
Your Honor, she has a pending case.
All right, bond is set in the amount of $1,000 on count 1, $1,000 on count 2, $100 on count 3. Gina Luzzi.
North Broward.
Yeah.
Good morning, ma'am. You've been charged with possession of cocaine and possession of drug paraphernalia. Court finds there's probable cause. Pretrial?
Your Honor, she has a history of failing to appear.
Bond is set in the amount of $1,000 on count 1, $500 on count 2.
Okay.
Jessica Mott.
Judge, I've been informed Jessica Mott bonded.
Okay, thank you. Cassius Frazier.
Ms. Cassius Frazier is here present, Judge, at Maine.
Good morning. Ma'am, you've been charged with possession of THC. I find there's probable cause. Pretrial? If we can verify her address, I'll put her on pretrial.
Judge, respectfully, I did talk to her about pretrial, and the alternative, before you consider pretrial, I'd ask you first to consider lowering the bond from 1,000 to 100. This is the reason why. My understanding is this is her first contact with the criminal justice system. She's a registered voter here in Broward County, been living here all her life, 22 years old. At this point, she just lost her job. She was working for a company that prints designs on T-shirts. It's called Isaac's Company, making about $9 an hour. She just lost her job, so she's looking for work. She lives with her mom, and her mom works at McDonald's. Mom supports 3 other siblings, so financially, she thinks her mom can come up with $100. That's why I would ask you first to consider $100. She's no flight risk, first contact.
Well, if mom can come up with $100, then bond set in the amount of $1,000 should be good for her.
Well, actually, I did talk to the bond company. Sometimes they ask for collateral or something like that. She doesn't think that her mom has collateral to put up the $1,000 with the surety bond. So that's why I'm asking, would you consider lowering it to $100, considering it's her first contact, it's a THC offense. The law does say there's a presumption to be released on non-monetary conditions. I think she's a perfect candidate.
Well, I'll be real honest with you. I'll lower the bond in the amount of $500, although pretrial is still available to her if she wants it.
Thank you very much, Judge. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
You're on 500 and pending verification.
Correct. Kirsten Lakoti. Ms. Lakoti, good morning. Ma'am, you've been charged with retail theft, giving false identification to a police officer, and there are 3 warrants out for your arrest for a VOP for a felony. I find there's probable cause. Bond is set in the amount of $3,500 on count 1, $500 on count 2. No bond on 3, 4, and 5.
Judge, excuse me.
Yeah?
Just for the record, count 3 and 5 was no info.
All right, so we just have count 4, which is a no bond hold.
I think it's a pretrial release violation. I don't think it's a VOP. Because the case number, I just looked it up, and the case was just filed last week.
It's just a violation of pretrial?
Magistrate, however, it was already no info.
Okay,
Not
but-
even for magistrate.
So we still have count 4, right?
Yes, and that is for violation of pretrial.
All right, that'll be
Okay.
no bond on that one. Michael?
Judge, I'm going to ask you to sign an order allowing Ms. Lascotti to get access to her phone to make some phone calls.
Of course. Michael Comiskey.
Michael Kaminsky, he declined to serve as a public defender at Maine, Judge.
All right. Mr. Comiskey, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Judge.
Sir, it looks like there were 2 warrants out for your arrest. It looks like one is in the amount of $250, one is in the amount of $500. Hang on one second.
Excuse me. He was actually being released.
I can't hear you. It's
You
just
gotta turn the mic up.
They asked him to turn the volume down.
Hector,
Turn the volume down.
Yes.
can you turn the volume down?
I can put the mute button so you can hear us.
Thank you.
Or just lower it.
All right, go ahead.
This defendant has been in custody since July 12th of 2016. He was being released to the House of Hope program this morning when this traffic infraction ad charge came up.
All right, so it's my understanding, sir, that they want to put you in the House of Hope. If you want to resolve both these cases, I'll give you time served. You want to do that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Put your hand down and tell me your name.
Michael Christopher Comiskey.
Mr. Comiskey, it's my understanding you want to change your plea from not guilty to no contest. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anybody forcing you to do that, sir?
No, Your Honor.
Anybody promise you anything to get you to do that?
No, Your Honor.
Sir, are you under the influence of any alcohol or drugs so you don't understand what's going on here today?
No, Your Honor.
Understand if you're not a citizen, this plea will subject you to deportation.
Yes, Your Honor.
I find that it's a knowing, intelligent, and voluntary waiver, factual basis based on the driving record and the tickets. In reference to counts 6 and 7, you're going to be adjudicated guilty, sentenced to time served. Court cost of prosecution are going to be imposed. I'm going to give you a year to pay. Sir, best of luck to you. You should be transported to House of Hope today, okay?
Thank you, Your
Good
Honor.
luck to you. Wilford Eugene Roberts.
Judge, Mr. Roberts is here present. Judge, he's asking Your Honor if you would consider resolving his case. It's a 1997 offenses, and I don't know if Your Honor, he says he hasn't had contact with criminal justice system in quite some time. Judge financially can't afford to post bond, but he wishes to resolve all these cases.
Mr. Roberts, these cases are all out of my division. So you've been charged on all of these cases with resisting without violence, possession of cannabis, license suspended or revoked, failure to register your vehicle, unlawful use of a temporary tag, and a theft charge. If you want to resolve all your cases today, and you want to no contest, I'll give you 5 days on everything if you want.
This I have no alternative to get released today.
The judge's offer is 5 days.
Hector, we can hear you.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay, Hector, go
I
ahead.
just didn't know if he wanted their conversation.
Judge, Mr. Roberts just wants me to ask you one more time, considering it's a 1997 almost 20-year-old case, would you consider time served? I
No.
believe probably the first, no? So that's it, 5 days. You would get credit, I'm assuming, for about 2 days, because this is the first time you got arrested and yesterday, so I'm assuming it's 3 more days. So do you want to take it, yes or no? No, it's up to you. It's up to you. It's your decision alone.
I need to resolve this, so.
Okay, let the judge know. Judge, he wishes to accept the court's offer.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Put your hand down and tell me your name.
Wilford Eugene Roberts Jr.
All right, Mr. Roberts, it's my understanding you want to change your plea from not guilty to no contest in reference to case number 9710336MM10A. 9710336. This comes out of the same case. 336MM10A. They're all seeming
It's
to
count
arise.
6 that has a different case.
Here they are. Wait a minute. Front probable cause affidavit is. Hang on a second. same case?
Same case number.
All right.
Count 6 is a different case number.
I see that one right.
And are we running the print?
Yes, we are. All right, in reference to 97-10336 MM10A, and in reference to 97-1926 MM40A, is that correct? You hear me? You hear me?
Yeah, no, I couldn't hear you. Yes, yes, ma'am. I could. They didn't have the mic on.
All right. It's 1 through 5 on one case, and there's an extra case, which is number 6. You want to change your plea to no contest?
Yes.
Anybody forcing you to do that, sir?
No, ma'am.
Anybody promise you anything to get you to do that?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Sir, are you under the influence of any alcohol or drugs so you don't understand what's going on here today?
No, ma'am.
Understand if you're not a citizen, this plea will subject you to deportation.
Yes.
I find that it's a knowing, intelligent, and voluntary waiver. Factual basis based on the notices to appear in the driving record and the probable cause affidavit. In reference to all 6 counts, you're going to be adjudicated guilty, sentenced to 5 days in the Broward County Jail. All counts are to run concurrent with one another. Credit for time served on all of them. In reference to the 2 cases, court cost of prosecution are going to be imposed. I'm going to give you a year to pay. Sir, it looks like your license is already suspended for 5 years. You need to go get yourself a valid driver's license. Good luck to you.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. Frederick Boyd.
Mr. Boyd is here present, Judge. This is a municipal ordinance case.
Mr. Odom.
Good morning, Judge. George Odom on behalf of Mr. McLaurin seeking an appointment on this case.
You'll be appointed.
Judge, we're trying to resolve this case if possible today. It's possession of controlled substance. I believe that substance is less than 20 grams of marijuana.
Sure, if he wants to plead, I'll withhold and give him court costs.
Mr. Boyd, did you hear the court's offer this morning? Did you, Mr. Boyd, my name is George Odom. Did you hear the court's offer this morning?
Oh, yes.
Okay, it's a withholding court cost. Do you want to accept that today?
You said, do I want to set a court cost?
It's the offer that the court offered you today is a withhold of adjudication and court costs and time served. Do you want to accept that today?
Yeah.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God, sir?
Yeah.
Put your hand down and tell me your name, please.
Frederick Boyd.
Mr. Boyd, it's my understanding you want to change your plea from not guilty to no contest, is that right?
Yeah.
Anybody forcing you to do that?
No.
Anybody promise you anything to get you to do that?
No.
Sir, are you under the influence of any alcohol or drugs so you don't understand what's going on here today?
No.
Understand if you're not a citizen, this plea will subject you to deportation.
No.
You understand that?
Yes.
I find that it's a knowing, intelligent, and voluntary waiver, factual basis based on the notice to appear in the probable cause affidavit. At this point in time, adjudication will be withheld. Court cost of prosecution will be imposed. I'm going to give you a year to pay, sir. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Bernardo Smith.
Mr. Smith is approaching, Judge.
All right,
He
Mr.
advised me he's going to go ahead and bond out, Judge.
All right, Mr. Smith, I find probable cause bond is at the amount of $250.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Philip DeVita.
Mr. DeVito is approaching, Judge.
All right. Mr. Odom.
George Odom again on behalf of Mr. McLaurin, moving to be appointed on the municipal ordinance case count 2 of the arrest docket. And is the state looking to offer anything on the trespass count 1? I believe that's a state charge.
Yeah, just set off for time served.
Judge, we'd be open on our end to resolve if Mr. Romero's open on his end.
Mr. Romero,
I've spoken to him. He wishes to resolve it, Your Honor.
all right, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Put your hand down and tell me your name.
James DeVito.
Mr. DeVita, it's my understanding you want to change your plea from not guilty to no contest to the state charge and the municipal ordinance. Is that right?
Hear what you're saying.
All right. Do you want to change your plea from not guilty to no contest? Anybody forcing you to do that?
No, ma'am.
Anybody promise anything to get you to do that?
No, ma'am.
Sir, are you under the influence of any alcohol or drugs, so you don't understand what's going on here today? Understand if you're not, hang on a second. Understand if you're not a citizen, this plea will subject you to deportation. Right? Are you a citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
I find that it's a knowing, intelligent, and voluntary waiver. Factual basis based on the probable cause affidavit. At this point in time, you're going to be adjudicated guilty on both counts. Court costs, cost of prosecution are going to be imposed. I'm going to sentence you to time served. $50 on the municipal ordinance, $100 in costs on the state charge. I'm going to give you a year to pay, sir. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. I couldn't hear what you said.
You want me to say it again? Come on back up. Hector, bring him back up if he wants me to say it again. If you didn't hear me, I want you to be able to hear me.
Oh, I heard you now.
All right, so you understand you're getting time served?
Yes, ma'am.
All righty, good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Renee Lenz.
Mr. Lentz, come on up, please.
All right, Mr. Lenz, you have a violation of probation in front of Judge Pohl. I find probable cause, no bond. You'll get back in front of Judge Pohl.
Good luck, sir.
Lee Andrew Dennis.
Mr. Dennis, come on up.
Mr. Odom.
Good morning again, Judge George Odom on behalf of Mr. McLawrence, moving to be appointed.
I'll appoint you.
Judge, I also would like to believe we can get this resolved today if the court is willing.
Time served if you want to.
Mr. Dennis, this is George Odom. Did you hear the court's offer today?
Time served.
Judge, is that a withhold or adjudication?
Withhold.
A withhold, adjudication, and time served plus court costs. You want to accept that today?
Yes.
Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Put your hand down and tell me your name, please.
D. Andrew Dennis, Jr.
It's my understanding you want to change your plea from not guilty to no contest. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody forcing you to do that?
No, ma'am.
Anybody promise you anything to get you to do that?
No, ma'am.
Sir, are you under the influence of any alcohol or drugs so you don't understand what's going on here today?
No.
Understand if you're not a citizen, this plea will subject you to deportation.
Yes, ma'am.
I find that it's a knowing, intelligent, and voluntary waiver. Factual basis based on the probable cause affidavit. At this point in time, I'm going to withhold adjudication, impose costs in the amount of $100. I'm going to give you a year to pay. I'm going to take judicial notice you've been in jail overnight. Sir, good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Withhold $100.
Try your volume button up there.
It's all the way down. It's awful. But if it's quiet now, it's Hector's fault.
It's always my fault.
All right, Terry David Koski.
Mr. Koski, come on up, please.
Good morning, sir. Sir, you've been charged with DUI and careless driving. I find there's probable cause. Pre-trial?
Your Honor, we have not yet verified him. He has no prior record. We'd like to attend a verification of the court.
Mr. Romero, if pre-trial
Judge,
can
Mr.
verify.
Koski, Judge, I did talk to him about pretrial, ROR, or bonding out. He said he's going to contact his sister to bond out.
Okay.
So he prefers that rather than pretrial. But I don't know if Your Honor just wishes to go ahead and outright release him ROR. First offense, first contact. He's a former National Guard member.
Bond is set in the amount of $500.
No problem. Okay.
Reynold Charlius.
Northburg, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir.
Mr. Charliet has indicated to me, Your Honor, he'd like to resolve this case this morning.
I'll give him time, sir. No return, though.
Yes, I think he understands that.
Mr. Charlies, you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, raise your right hand. You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, ma'am.
Put your hand down, tell me your name.
Bernard Charles.
It's my understanding you want to change your plea from not guilty to no contest. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody forcing you to do that?
No, ma'am.
Anybody promise you anything to get you to do that?
No, ma'am.
Sir, are you under the influence of any alcohol or drugs, so you don't understand what's going on here today? Understand if you're not a citizen, this plea will subject you to deportation.
Yes, ma'am.
I find that it's a knowing, intelligent, and voluntary waiver, factual basis based on the probable cause affidavit. I'm gonna adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to time served. Court costs, cost of prosecution are gonna be imposed. I'm gonna give you a year to pay. You can't go back to that Winn-Dixie, okay?
Okay.
Alrighty, good luck to you, sir. Oscar Lewis.
No prayer, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Lewis, good morning. This is count 11. I find there's probable cause. Bond is set in the amount of $25. James Alexander Oliphant.
Mr. Oliphant, present, Judge, he advised me he's gonna postpone.
All right, Mr. Oliphant, I find that there's probable cause on counts 1 through 3.
Mr. Oliphant is currently being supervised by pretrial service in a grand theft auto. We're gonna ask that his pretrial status be revoked based on the court's finding of probable cause. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Is the court gonna hold him no bond?
No bond on the pretrial.
Thank you.
Judge, would you consider something less restrictive than holding him no bond on the pretrial case and post back a monetary bond in the alternative?
I think we need to get him in front of his judge.
And just for the record, he was placed on pretrial on the 20th of last month.
All right, he was just placed on pretrial last month.
Yes, Judge.
Pentison Nicholas.
Bond posted.
All right.
Your Honor, our Spanish interpreter is here.
For which case? Thank you.
We have a gentleman up in North Broward by the name of Oscar Garcia on page 12.
All right, Mr. Garcia? Good morning, Madam Interpreter. Mr. Garcia, good morning, sir.
Buenos días, señor García.
Buen día.
Mr.
Good morning.
Garcia, you've been charged with burglary,
Señor García, se le acusa de allanamiento de morada,
criminal mischief over $100,
daño a la propiedad de $100 más,
and resisting arrest without violence.
resistir al oficial sin violencia.
Court
Yo no
fund.
resistí a la policía, yo entré a la mano y me echó el perro y me mordió. Se me cogieron muchos puntos en la barriga.
Well, I just want you to know that that dog bit me and I had to have several stitches on my belly.
Okay, I think that's probably something you want to tell your lawyer.
Eso, señor, es algo que le tiene que decir a su abogado.
I'm going to find there's probable cause.
Voy a encontrar que hay causa probable para el delito.
Bond is set in the amount of $1,000 on count 1,
$1,000 para de fianza en el primer cargo.
$500 in count 2,
En el segundo cargo, 500.
$100 on count 3.
Y en el tercero, 100.
So good luck to you.
Que tenga usted buena suerte.
Is that
I
it?
think so.
All right. Jonathan Valenzuela.
Thank you.
He's here, present, Judge, at Maine.
All right. Sir, good morning. You've been charged with burglary of an unoccupied conveyance unarmed on counts 1 and 2. Count 3 is grand theft. Count 4 is a violation of probation or community control. I find there's probable cause. Bond is set in the amount of $15,000 on count 1, $15,000 on count 2, $1,000 on count 3, and no bond on count 4.
Judge, respectfully, I'm going to be asking you if you would consider lowering the bond on counts 1 and 2. They are third-degree felonies. He's 19 years old, been living here his whole life. He just got a job with Home Depot. He was supposed to start orientation later on this week. He has no money in the bank, no property. The probation is out of date, so he's trying to see if he can post his monetary bond here in Broward so that he can be transported to Dayton and resolve or look into his VOP. Judge, would you consider reducing it from $15,000 each count to $5,000 each count?
Counsel for the state.
Your Honor, I think they're quite reasonable considering he's on probation for robbery with a firearm or deadly weapon.
That'll be denied. Kenneth Blazagame.
Mr. Blasphemy is here, present, Judge?
All right. Sir, you've been charged with driving while your license is suspended as a habitual offender. The court finds there's probable cause. Pretrial.
Your Honor, we have not been able to verify Mr. Blessing.
All right. Bond is set in the amount of $750. If they can verify, I'll put them on pretrial.
Yes, Judge, he wishes to do pretrial. Thank you very much, Judge. For later.
Keshawn Rowan White.
Mr. Delhom is here present, Judge?
All right. Well, this is Mr. White, right? Who is this?
I'm sorry, Mr. White.
That's okay.
Yes, it is.
Sir, you've been charged with uttering a forged instrument and possession of cocaine. I find that there's probable cause. Pretrial?
Declined, Your Honor.
Pardon? He declined. Bond is set in the amount of $1,000 on count one, $1,000 on count two. Abatu Marshall.
Judge, we skipped the decorum.
Mr. Marshall is here present, Judge?
Where?
Honor.
Maybe I haven't gotten to it yet, or should I lose it?
Might have been attached to
Kenneth?
I couldn't hear any.
Hang on a second, Hector.
Okay.
I don't,
Maybe it's stuck with.
Maybe it's stuck.
I think I did that one.
No, we have a burden charge. We need the bond.
Do you have it over there? No? Maybe it's lower in the paperwork. Let me see if I can find it when we get to it. All right, Mr. Marshall, you've been charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. I find that there's probable cause. Bond is set in the amount of $5,000, no contact with the victim.
And, Your Honor, the only other release condition the state would request is no firearms or weapons until further order of the court.
That'll be granted. No firearms or weapons in your possession.
Judge, my understanding, Mr. Marshall is advised he's 37 years old. He has no prior convictions or anything like that with the system. He works for Global Response and Customer Service, making only $11 an hour. He's going to be contacting his girlfriend. She's the only one that could potentially post his bond, but she works at Party City. Funds are limited. They have one child in common. He's asking if pretrial can verify if you would consider releasing him on pretrial release.
Counsel for the state.
Your Honor, we'd ask that the court keep the bond at $5,000. While dated in 2000, Mr. Marshall had possession of a firearm on school property. That, including the allegation that he was in possession of, threatened a woman with a firearm and threatened to kill her, we'd ask that the bond be kept.
Bond is set in the amount of $5,000, no contact, no firearms. Michael Phillips.
Bond posted.
I've been advised Michael Phillips bonded, Judge.
Yes. Francis Adrioli.
Mr. Adrioli, come on up. He's approaching.
Sir, you've been charged with possession of heroin. It looks like there's a warrant out for your arrest. Bond is set in the amount of $1,000. I find probable cause.
Judge, our only request is would you sign a phone order so we can contact his family and bond him out?
Of course.
Thank you.
Damian Paul Fortino.
Hold on. Mr. Fortino. Judge, wait, be careful though, okay? Be careful. He's approaching, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Fortino, you've been charged with a violation of probation. I find there's probable cause, no bond.
Take care, sir. You'll be senior judge November 6th, and good luck, okay?
Daniel Ritz.
Medical loan?
Still? Okay. What about Robert Varnado?
North Bragg, Your Honor, that's a medical reset.
Okay. Jeffrey Germain. Jeffrey Germain.
I showed him as being in the main jail.
Okay.
I'm right now inquiring, Judge.
Okay.
Medical loan, Judge, I've been advised.
Okay. Raymond Standridge.
Medical loan, Judge.
at Conti. Todd Carter?
Mr. Carter's in Conte, Judge.
Yes.
Mr. Carter, good morning.
Good morning.
Sir, you've been charged with burglary of an unoccupied dwelling. It looks like it's a filed case. It looks like there was a warrant, no bond.
Your Honor?
Yes?
Oh, this is actually a change of charge. When Mr. Carter came through the first time, he was charged with burglary of an occupied dwelling.
Okay.
The state just took the occupied element off, but it's still a secondary felony. Bond was set at $5,000 with pretrial release and a GPS. We just asked that that same bond and conditions be placed on him, and he's scheduled for arraignment tomorrow morning in front of Judge Shearer.
Bond is set in the amount of $5,000 with the GPS. If you can't do that, sir, you'll be in front of Judge Shearer tomorrow.
Judge, he's not going to be able to do that. I spoke with him. He's lived here all his life. He has a lot of family here. He's been a concrete finisher his entire life. I'd ask the court to consider reducing the bond, because even though they're both second-degree felonies, burglary of an unoccupied dwelling is less serious than burglary of an occupied dwelling, and I think that should be reflected in a reduction of the bond.
I think you should see Judge Shearer tomorrow. Jeremy Egan.
Your Honor.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Mr. Egan, you've been... It looks that way.
I provided the court and defense counsel with the packet. There's a supplement at the bottom. I gotta be honest, I read over the original PC. I'm not sure what the issue was, but I believe the supplement should cover any
Mr.
issues.
Egan, hang on a second.
Yeah, it would have, yeah. What's that?
All right, court finds that there's probable cause. It looks like... Did Mr. Odom leave?
What's that?
It looks like there's one county case, and then it looks like there's two municipal ordinance
Yeah,
cases.
I guess. We're just here on the trespass.
Trespass to a bus stop.
All right, hang on a second.
I'll check right now. I don't have my paperwork on it, but I'm looking.
Yes, there were.
If Madam Pretrial says it, I believe it. Yes, there are.
Mr. Odom, if you want to resolve all three of these, I'll give you time served and a withhold on all of them, or we can wait for Mr. Odom to come back this afternoon or tomorrow morning.
Your Honor, these are KPSs out of West. I don't know that Mr. McLawrence's office has a contract with any of the cities out West.
Besides, Judge, if you're so inclined, you can do it sua sponte. I can represent him on the misdemeanor.
If everybody's okay with me to do it, I'll do it.
I'm fine with
Okay
the
with it?
count.
I'll give you time served and a withhold if you want to get out.
That would be perfect, Your Honor.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God, sir?
Yes.
Put your hand down and please tell me your name.
My name is Jeremy Edward Egan.
Mr. Egan, it's my understanding you want to change your plea from not guilty to no contest to this trespass and to case number 1712228 MO30 and 1710766 MO30. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
Anybody forcing you to do that?
No, Your Honor.
Anybody promise you anything to get you to do that, sir?
No, Your Honor.
Sir, are you under the influence of any alcohol or drugs so you don't understand what's going on here today?
No, Your Honor.
Understand if you're not a citizen, this plea will subject you to deportation.
Yes, Your Honor.
I find that it's a knowing, intelligent, and voluntary waiver, factual basis based on the probable cause affidavits and the notices to appear. At this point in time, adjudication will be withheld on everything. Court cost of prosecution on count 1. In reference to counts 2 and 3, cost in the amount of $50 is going to be imposed on each. I'm going to give you a year to pay. Sir, you got to quit doing this, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All righty, good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, I don't have anything else.
Judge, we have Mr. Delhome
Right.
on page 10 here at
Your Honor,
Maine.
it seems like his paperwork was put through. We see where the court did set a bond, and apparently from probable cause, but I guess the court was moving faster than.
Sorry.
So, Your Honor.
I'm sorry. Mr. Delhome, I thought I did this.
Yes, he's here at Maine.
Right, but he was never called.
Oh. Mr. Delhome, you've been charged with burglary. I find that there's probable cause. Bond is set in the amount of $2,500.
Judge, would you consider releasing Mr. Delhome on pretrial release? From what he tells me, he lives with his girlfriend. They have 3 kids. She's the only one working. she works at Burger King. He's actually going to school. He goes to Siegel Technical School, trying to obtain some sort of construction license. Financially, he doesn't have the money to bond. Would you consider releasing him on pretrial?
Madam Pretrial.
Your Honor, I do see where he's violated his probation several times. His priors include cocaine possession, 2013, distributing narcotics, 2013, fraud and trespass in 2015, battery in 12, and so forth.
That'll be denied.
Yes, sir.
All right, I think we're done, right? Absolutely,
Actually, Judge, if I may approach that,
of course.
if you don't mind, there was a case over the weekend where I guess Judge